All right, we'll call this meeting of the Historic District Commission to order at 7:01 PM on Tuesday, April 18th. And we will seat Goodrich as a full member and Keatsman as a full member. Todd, would you please read the call?
Please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Tuesday, April 11, 2023. Town of Groton notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023 at 7 PM at the Groton Town Hall Annex, 134 Groton Long Point Road, and virtually via the Zoom platform to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 23-15, 51-53 High Street, Page and Mark Gulrick, owner applicant, shingle replacement, pin number 2618063944220. HDC 23-16, 11 Fort Rachel Place, Perry Lorenz, owner applicant, retaining walls and guard railing, pin number 2618063944220. HDC 23-17, 3 Pearl Street, High Street, Cam Bortz applicant, sign installation, pin number 2619183178086. HCC 23-18, 15 Water Street, Dan Miser, owner, removal of step, pin number 2619183061008. A Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meetings calendar. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during normal business hours at the Planning Department, 134 Groton Long Point Road, Groton, Connecticut. Dated this 11th day of April 2023 at Groton, Connecticut. Todd Brady, Secretary.
Okay, I will make a motion to waive the hearing procedures.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, we have to do it too.
We'll just, I got a message from Sue Choquette reminding us that when you second or make a motion that you identify yourself.
Okay.
Because she has trouble determining who's doing it. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Levinson second.
Well, all in favor?
Goodrich, aye.
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Levinson, aye.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, just,
Keatsman, aye.
okay, that's carried. I'm gonna unseat Goodrich. Sorry, Bill, you're second.
I'm back in the pool.
All right, and if anyone does want to read the hearing procedures, they are right over there, so you can take one of that. We'll jump right into HTC 23-12, 36 Pearl Street. This is advanced.
Bill O'Donnell, Advanced Group, here from last week. We were going to install what was listed as 36 windows, replacement windows. When it was actually 35 replacement windows and 1 new construction window. That was going to be a new window added to the house itself. So the request was made to show where the new window was going on the side of the house. So I have this to show that. There. This is the original. It's the 35 and 1.
Is that window there?
Yes.
Okay.
And as a reminder, these are Marvin elevate windows with SPG.
So you're replacing all of them. Plus one.
No, there were 7 or 8 windows that she had replaced, I don't know how many years ago. So they're at Anderson's, and we'll leave those as is. Ones that have been replaced are original, I think. 30s.
So. Can we tell which windows are actually being replaced? Isn't that what we talked about last time?
No,
We didn't?
no, I mean, no, you're not, no. Yes, yes, we did.
Well, we asked him because he mentioned at the very end, he was adding a window, and that's what was missing on the original application. That's why we can.
So at the last meeting, we didn't ask for identification of which windows were actually being replaced?
We did.
I thought we did.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
So every window. is being
Well,
replaced.
the issue, and for me to be a, stickler, but I think we said, the question was asked, how many windows are being replaced? And said, my recollection, not all of them. And we said, well, we don't know where the new window is going. And we also didn't know which windows were being replaced because the question had been asked, are you replacing all of them? And the answer was no. And some of them had already been replaced. But in looking at these photographs, we can't tell what windows are being replaced and what windows.
Can I ask why that would matter?
I suppose, it's a legitimate question to ask that, but
Just because the rules require.
Oh, the rules.
And also it's helpful for us if we're making sure that you actually did the job that we signed off on. So that's the other.
so in other words, if they come out to inspect. Now they've got if they got a drawing that shows which all the windows that were being replaced, they can say, okay, this window, this window, this one. But when you haven't identified the ones that were already replaced with the new ones, now the inspector is theoretically got to come out there and maybe. Can they discern? Maybe they can't discern. So maybe you could say it doesn't matter, but as a practical matter, it's almost impossible. To do the inspection and say, yes, you've replaced all the windows you said you were. You get what I'm saying.
Hopefully that again.
Well, I mean, let me ask this question for your sanity. Are you able to? I mean, did you take a picture of all four sides of the house? I'm able
The
to.
back of the house had to go to the neighbor's yard. There's only about 4 feet of fence. The back of the house and the fence. I had to go straight up.
Gotcha. So maybe you can mark them on this, what you submitted tonight.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the back of the house visible from a public way?
It's a long, it's from
It's a
gravel
long
street.
shot
It's a long
with
shot.
binoculars.
I mean, I could do it, of course, but I've got it, I probably got it here in our. But it's on my phone, and this is kind of how the yard is tight, the house is big. That's not even the back of the house. So, anyway.
Well,
If I could email it, it'd be great, so some emails on the back.
is it possible to approve with the stipulation
Yeah,
that
it's just a thing.
he identifies which windows he's replacing? Before he replaces any of them and submits that to us. I mean, it seems sort of immaterial, I mean, which windows. I can't tell if it's gonna make much difference, I guess is what.
I just think it protects him and anybody for anybody coming back saying it was done right. I
That he
mean,
put in the wrong window.
Point.
just in my time on this board, it's
I understand.
anytime we try and make that step, it usually comes back to be an issue. I don't want to be an issue for him, the property owner, or anybody.
Well, but we could
approve it conditional upon.
the circle he's
Three
gonna show.
sides. Three sides visible from the public way with the windows clearly identified.
But he said we can see the back from the public.
Do the back.
Yeah, the whole house. Yeah.
This is gonna be like.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I think the point is that you have to clearly identify which windows are getting, which, you're doing 36 windows. So we need to know ahead of time.
Well, I mean, it's
Later, if there's a
48
complaint,
windows in the
right?
house, I think, I can't remember, but yeah.
No one has a problem.
No, I understand, yeah.
I would just take a picture of each side, clearly identify which windows they are. We could vote.
Tonight.
And make a conditional on receiving that, and just won't be able to do anything until we get that.
Yeah, they're in order anyway. So. How do I get this back to you guys? Do you drop it off somewhere or email?
Or.
Tom's gonna read it? Email it to him.
We can just deal with it on that.
Next meeting, I could think of.
But you-
Christmas.
Yeah, if you're waiting on windows, you can just come back next time and it'll. Won't be conditional, and it'll be clean, so.
We gotta
Do you have
figure
a
it out one of these
preference?
days.
Do you have that window, pardon the pun, but do you have that window of time between now and the next meeting for your windows? When do you expect the windows to be? In?
Oh, no, no, don't be until June probably.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then just,
So why don't you just come back this week,
So-
or next time,
yeah,
with the photos, just to make it simple.
You guys like seeing it now?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll come up with another.
Building a relationship.
Yes.
Is it a healthy one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanna-
Hanging on my wall.
All right.
Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, sure.
It's a great looking house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it needs windows for sure. It needs siding.
So, Goodman, I'll make a motion to continue HTC 23-2.
Brady, I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
I'm not.
Oh, you're
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Levinson, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keatsman, I.
23-12 is continued.
Yeah, thank you.
These people are first up.
Exactly.
HTC 23-15, this is 51 High Street. No.
Yes, I got a name change. My name's Mark Ernst. My wife's name is Paige Coolrick. So we're here tonight to talk about we're replacing the roof on the house, matching the roof we put on the garage, the barn. So it's the same, the roof.
This probably shows.
Just because of the roof, that's it.
That's it. Architecture showing the siding component here. Yeah, but
Yeah, I remember.
That's what we have. This is what we put on the garage, and this is the specification that's there.
Other questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, HCC 23-16, 11 Fort Rachel Place. Mr. Evans.
Hello, everyone. My 17
Say your name again.
photos. Oh, Pat Lorenz, I'm Perry Lorenz's son.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everybody. This is Perry Lorenz. I'm on the Zoom meeting, so I'll be able to speak to it. I'm sorry I was unable to be there this evening. I had a doctor's appointment that held me back.
And also.
Here, use the screen as your guide.
Oh, there we go.
It's gonna be opposite what you think.
Yeah. Big volume.
Sorry, guys.
So can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you for allowing me to present and come back to the commission. What we are proposing is when you see the 11 by 17, you can see the grade as it comes down the hill and intersects with the driveway. So we're proposing to build a 30 to 40 inch antique granite stone wall that'll basically retain back the slope. Above that, we plan to make a garden area. And then potentially, as I discussed in the last meeting, we would add one or two more as we go up the hill, depending on the slope. to help make a vegetative planter to help screen that side of the house from the Fort Rachel West roadway. The contractor that we're proposing to use, Derek Pepin, he just finished the antique stone wall at Daniel Packer Inn down the street. We liked that wall and we thought it was consistent with the other original granite stone walls that you see throughout Mystic. The larger stone and finely cut so they're tight joints. So that was our intention. It's more of a landscaping item, but being it could fall into the retaining wall category. The guidelines, I believe, say we have to submit on that. I was a little uncertain, but they're safe rather than sorry. This work has not been completed yet. The other item, Ken, if you can slide the drawing over just a little bit so I can see it towards your right, yeah. There's an existing retaining wall that was part of the original submission. We still need to stone veneer it, consistent with the house. But in seeing the current condition as it's unfolded while we're doing the construction, for safety purposes, I'd like to put up a little wood guardrail so my wife doesn't drive over it. We tried to find something that would just be wood, mortise connection, and it would be attached to the retaining wall on the back side, probably extend down about 20 inches. We would lag it into the retaining wall. Then we would stone veneer around it, leaving the wood guardrail up approximately 20 inches or so to bumper height. It's merely a safety consideration. Those are the two items we're submitting on this evening.
So is the veneer going to match the veneer we see in the upper left-hand corner there?
So the veneer will match the stone on the house, on the concrete retaining wall, yes.
And are the retaining walls just the one on the driveway, or was it the two others that are in the drawing as well? Are you asking for all three?
That are in red, yes.
How high is the retaining wall?
It'll range just based on the grade. The lowest one probably be 30 to 40 inches, a little higher as you get down towards the street, because we have to, and you can see the existing grade on that 11 by 17. It'll vary a little bit. We plan to cut the grade down, somewhat, so it doesn't need to be an engineered wall. The upper two probably going to be more in the neighborhood of 24 inches, if I had to guess.
Questions?
And a list, I mean, it's also a list of materials that's there, but I think you just need to list it out to comply.
I don't know if you heard all that, but we were just discussing how we need more specifics in the materials that you're using. A, there's a list of materials, and B, like the heights. This is a little vague for I'm just gonna speak for myself right now. It's vague, saying it's gonna be between 30 and 40 inches.
Well, I just say something. I think that in particular on this lower wall,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to specify the
Yeah,
actual
I
height
think
you're
so
gonna come
too.
up. You're dealing with a grade which varies over a certain distance.
Correct. I'm not talking about the lower wall. I'm talking about the upper two walls.
The upper two walls, I can make them whatever height you want. You want me to make them?
That's
I was
not-
trying to blend it so it would fit the natural contours, of which will probably go to 0. to, because they circle back, right? So the reason they're arched the way they are, they basically would die at 0, and then at the low point, it would probably be 20 to 24 inches. And then as it goes back up the hill, it's going to die back to 0. It's because the grade's running with the curvature.
No,
They're
I agree with
literally, the upper two are just landscape planters. That's,
Yeah. I agree, Todd. I think it's gonna be impossible for him to give us.
Yeah.
It's almost gonna put him at a disadvantage because then he says 20 inches and it's 20 and a half, you put him in a situation he's gonna violate his own,
Okay,
in
no,
my opinion.
Good point, John.
To
Yeah.
their point,
okay.
on the second page, you'll see
let's
there's
see.
a little bit more detail.
For height, I'd be comfortable between, no lower than, no higher
Yeah,
than.
I think there should be
There you go.
we just all said it exactly the same time, that it's not to exceed upper limit. There should be an upper limit to those, the top two. Because I agree with the bottom one, you can't determine because of the variation, but I think we'd love to see it will be no higher than, I'm picking a number, it's arbitrary, 26 inches, or whatever you decide, but.
And I'm fine with that. If we want to say, 24 inches, 2 feet on the upper two, that gives me, an elevation break at, because I can slope, I can fill it with loom and just slope it, right? So it's irrelevant to me in terms of whether it's 24 inches or 30 inches, because I can just do it with loom. So if you want to say 24 or 26 inches on the upper two, I'm fine with
here's my
that.
only thought. Your plan says 20 to 30, so just cap it at 30.
Okay, yeah, no, and again, I'm not picking a
And
number,
then
I'm
the
just,
lower one says 30 to 40, just cap it at 40.
perfect,
So it's
I can totally agree with that.
I also think we should see some views, some renderings from the public ways, which we're not seeing on the overhead there. That's up to you guys, that's just my feedback. How it looked from the public view.
Well, you see if you look at the 11 by 17, right? You can see the cut as it goes up the driveway now. That is exactly where we plan to place it.
I meant the upper ones too, Mr. Lorenz, I'm sorry.
No, the upper ones.
The two upper retaining walls that are showing in your,
I'll tell you what, I'll just eliminate them. I'll just do it in loom. If it's not worth me to hire an engineer to go create
But I think-
renderings for
I think
that, I'll just eliminate it.
I think he's just
I'll do it with bushes.
I think he's just asking for a couple of pictures.
Yeah, no, we're not,
yeah, it's all just some pictures of how it looked, not asking you to do an engineering drawing.
yeah.
How would I do that? And I'm pretty good with graphics.
No, just
Do you want me to superimpose them on the existing photos?
Yeah,
with a Sharpie.
Yeah, with a
Yeah.
Sharpie.
So let me ask you a question. If you're gonna put it on a Sharpie, you wanna see the species of rock, every rock is chiseled to a different.
Is that what
No.
they did at DPI?
They do a mock up there.
Timeout.
Yeah.
Let's start over. DPI was rebuilding a wall for a wall, so they did it exactly with the stuff that was there. I think all they're saying here is they just want a photo of your yard and just take a Sharpie and just mark where you want the wall. That's it.
yeah, we don't need to see
We
the
don't need to see
stone,
the
that'll be in the
stone.
list of materials.
They just
All
want to,
right.
want to see this from the street. So they can get a sense of like, that's where the walls. Were.
So I'll speak for myself, nobody's trying to be difficult here, we're just trying to abide by the rules that are in our handbook, that's all, we're trying to be very consistent moving forward, so nobody's trying to give you a hard time.
That's all right. I'm just gonna scrap the 2 upper walls. It's not worth it. So we'll just vote on the lower wall and the guardrail.
You're saying you want to fill this road. Is that what you're saying?
It's one of our requirements. I'm not voting to obviously, just my feedback, I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm not voting tonight.
Yeah, nobody makes photos of stuff they haven't built yet, right? And it's a very challenging topography he's dealing with. I think some retaining walls would look better or more historic of the nature he's proposing than no retaining wall. And I think he needs a little latitude on doing it. I don't see what can go wrong with approving it, even if we don't know exactly where the wall's going. I don't think there's any incentive to build it to the moon or something, so We've specified that maximum heights. He's been here many times. I think he's shown a lot of patience. I think he's doing a great job.
Can I see the handbook?
We can always ask for more detail. It just seems like a perpetual. People have schedules and they want to get into their place and they have workers, and I think the burden for us to be satisfied with the Sharpie line versus 2 weeks of delay is onerous and not justified. So, my opinion.
I agree with Ted. I mean, there's just a limit to what you can expect to get, and I challenge any of you to be able to, if you looked at this drawing and it were scoped out. I don't know what your opinion is, how it's gonna be affected one way or the other, unless you were the ultimate, wall surface aesthetician. I mean, really.
It's a nice looking wall. I
And
like to look at the wall
regardless
better
what the
than wall,
guidelines
so-
say, we're also free to disregard certain things that are in there if we choose to do so. And I say we disregard even if it's in there.
I understand, John, we're taking a risk in doing that. I think it's worthwhile to take that kind of risk. That's how come there's. a
Yeah, I
condition
mean,
instead of a
we
guide.
can go down. Application requirements.
Mhm.
It's there should be a photograph showing how it looks. Should be a sketch. I mean, again, I'm not voting tonight, so I'm just giving feedback as an alternate. It's up to you guys what you want to do. Sketch of a perspective drawing, proposed work. That's all in here as listed as a quote unquote requirement.
Yeah.
You guys are voting. I'm not at your call. I'm just giving my
I
feedback.
understand.
So.
I understand.
Maybe
I've
else
read the
wants to look
book.
at this.
I understand the requirements.
And
I
my,
think they brought a lot of documentation that's sufficient for me to understand what it's going to look like. So I'm happy with it based on the documentation they provide.
Going back to upper wall and the lower wall.
I think that would look better. I would, if I were making things for them, I'd put some stone walls in there, because I think it'll look better than a steep sloping runoff problem, mudslide situation, so.
and my reason for asking is when the zoning official goes out, that he has an idea of what he's going out to inspect.
I think his drawings.
This drawing shows where the
Drawings
walls
got where
going.
the walls are going.
Drawing shows where the walls are.
It's a difficult, I mean, I
Yeah,
walk
no,
by
I-
it every day. It's my favorite walk. I walk Port Rachel. I look up at this project. I don't think you'll be able to see a lot of this from any of the roads that you walk around, because it goes up so steeply.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's submitting an as-built for the final approval anyway, so he can have that on the as-built. The locations, he's gonna sketch them on there, and then on the as-built to show the locations on the as-built.
Okay.
That's May too.
And I'm
As
just
long as
trying
it's
to,
on that.
I'm just trying for applicants and us to avoid the problems we've been plagued
If
with
there's
recently, and
procedures, and if we get a little.
detail saves everybody headaches down the road, but again, that's
But
just
our
my
mission
opinion.
is to ensure historic character and not be too much of a burden to the applicants, and I think.
Yeah, we don't
nothing
need
not
applicants going
historic.
through some of the trials and tribulations they've gone through. From the time I've been on here, I think it's
I'm just
protecting
talking about
everybody.
this applicant.
I can
You know,
just
this application.
I don't need this. This is fine, but it's fine. You can,
No,
and you
I-
want more, then
No,
it's your right to say you want more.
I'm willing to roll with the group in this, in the sense that it, like you said, everything's marked on that overhead, what I call an overhead drawing. I know it's- But no, but I'm saying that I just,
Do you want the height and the stuff?
I do, that was my second point was I would like a max for the guardrail. Because that would seem big.
I can write on the approval sheet if it's approved and voted on and approved, that the height of the two retaining walls up the hill will not exceed the number specified in the drawings.
Mhm.
Bill's talking about the rail.
It's talking about the
And I'm talking about the guardrail.
The wooden guardrail.
That doesn't have a height.
You mentioned its bumper height above the.
Right.
stone wall.
But my,
I thought he said 20 inches or 24 inches.
Yeah, we can pick whatever is typical for a bumper height. I just want to make sure nobody drives off of it inadvertently.
Is
Do you
20,
want to set a maximum?
yeah,
But
I
it's
was gonna say, as
maximum for
long as
that
there's a
area.
maximum set, I'm fine with it.
Go 30 that we.
not higher than
Not higher
30,
than 30 inches.
Yeah.
It's better to be lower than the other way.
is that okay with you?
Yes, yeah,
Guardrail not higher than 30, and then you can make it lower if you want to.
yeah. It'd probably be, I'm assuming bumper height's like what, 24 inches, I'm guessing. I mean, it depends what you have as a vehicle, but standard vehicle.
Bumper height's usually knee height, so what is that, about probably 24.
Corvette has a different bumper height than a Humvee, so. I mean, it's less than-
Right.
So
I don't think I'm gonna get a Humvee up in
No,
that
but
area,
that's why I kind of stopped at, you said bumper height. That's why I just wanted something written specific.
so if you want to say no higher than, 24 inches, I'm fine with that.
24, or you want to say 30?
I'd go higher.
Let's say 30 for the top of the
30,
post.
He's got wiggle room.
With the top of the post extends probably another 6 or 8 inches, so.
Right.
Sure.
No higher than 38 on the posts.
Okay, so you want me to put in a maximum height on the post too?
yes.
But 30 inches probably overall would probably.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say 30 and 36, okay? And then you've got all the flexibility. Right.
That's fine.
Are you sure that retaining wall was approved?
Yeah, it was all part of the original submission that we had that when we went day one. It was all part of the original HDC submission, the building permit, the zoning permit, all those.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is this part of the submission here too?
I probably should. be.
Leave the back page. Sewer.
The garden.
Okay, does anyone else have anything else?
These guys, correct? Yeah, that's fine. You would need the application. Form.
We're supposed to be asking for before.
Yeah.
Polycom.
Just gonna ask that. Does anyone in the audience have anything to say in favor of the application? Anyone against the application? HCC 23-16 are closed.
If I hang on to this. The rest of the.
HCC 23-17 3 Pearl Street. Right.
Hambort's Mystic Carp Signs. Representing Harry Biggie from 3 Pearl Street. And we're proposing to place these signs on this building. Here several weeks ago with a model showing how these are attached to the building.
Just if you could just walk through it quick.
Sure. What we're doing is we're putting 2 signs on the wall, directly on the wall, 8 feet by 18 inches. In the center, on an angle on the corner of the building, is a sign 48 inches by 30 inches. These are carved signs, black with gold.
So-
that driveway go, which leads to the left? Yeah, it's a driveway. What's the building?
It's the park.
That's the parking lot.
The parking lot.
That's a new parking lot behind. right?
Yeah.
So that rendering is the matches up with dimensions you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all right here.
This was the sign that everybody else on the board understood perfectly, but my visual just went. I didn't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah, no. I've caught up. I've caught up to the rest of the group. I've got-
Okay.
Right.
Looks really nice.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Anything else? Good.
We're good.
Anyone in the audience, have anything to say for the application? Anyone against the
Have you got
application?
the exhibits in there?
Yes, HGC 23-17 is closed. HGC 23
I know it's closed, but did you bring that for?
that's all in there.
So that block. I was just saying about the block. Oh,
I was told to bring an example of the material.
okay.
Here it is.
Give you an A for effort.
That's what it is.
HGC 23-18. Port of call, Dan Miser is not here, so
Is
make a motion to continue.
is he online? Is there no one? Okay.
I'll second, Evanson second,
All in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Evanson, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, I.
Okay, HCC 23-18 is continued. Okay, so we'll close the public hearing and move on to consideration. Through HTC 23-12 is continued. HTC 23-15, this is the roof. Any comments, motions,
Move to, Evanson, move to approve.
Keithman, second.
all in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Evanson, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, I.
Okay, HTC 23-15 is approved. This is a HTC 23-16, 11 Fort Rachel Place. Any motions and I'll be sending.
I move to approve. Oh, Keithman,
But contingent upon what's in.
Yeah.
and contingent upon the dimensional notations that Todd made on the
Yeah, I haven't made him yet.
application.
Or just per the site plan. Is there all?
That's the one you did in the site plan.
Right, so this is now 16, right?
So just,
Pete, I don't have, I'm sorry, I don't have a,
23-16.
I don't have a voting sheet. Or I don't have an approval sheet. I don't have them for 18 either.
so just to be clear.
Yeah.
Motion to approve based upon the maximum heights in the site plan. And the documents. Goodman, I'll second. All in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
It's not just the site plan, though, it's in the application.
What's that, tell us site plan?
No, it's on the site plan, not written in the application.
Oh, yeah.
So it's-
Dimensions are just let you know.
Yeah,
Four.
well, except for the wood, but that is.
Except for the guardrail, because we said 38 inches
Right.
with 36 on the post.
Both, yeah.
Also has amended guardrails.
Right.
So why don't we amend that clearly for the record? I think it's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, do you want to
Start over. Well, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw Keatsman's motion.
I withdraw my motion.
Yeah.
Todd, maybe you should make the motion, because you got all the facts in your head.
I've been trying to sort through the paperwork. I've been listening.
All right, I will make a motion to approve based upon, or approve based upon the maximum heights of the site plan for the retaining walls and the additional details for the wood retaining wood.
Guardrail.
Evanson second.
All right, all in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Evanson, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, I.
HCC 23-16 is approved. HCC 23-17. 3 Pearl Street is the sign. I think it's great, and I'll make a motion to approve. It's good enough.
Keithman, I'll second.
You need more time?
I'm multitasking. Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Evanson, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, I.
All right, HTC 23-17 is approved. HTC 23-18, this is Dan Miser's continues.
Can I ask a question? In the height of the lower
Guardrail.
no retaining wall.
Is as delineated on the site plan. I
It's,
think
is already, it's
Right,
specified.
I know it is, but I'm just writing it. Huh?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is.
No. As it was.
Yeah.
And then the guardrail is
Right.
30 inches, the post height of 36 maximum, right?
Right, yes, correct. Those are a number with 30 and 40 and 30 on the two retaining walls.
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
right.
off the
Okay.
plan though.
That's right.
This pre-application. So. Go to 41 Pearl Street.
We know you were approved. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure you.
So they are online.
I have a question on that one. If I can we talk about it at all? 41.
Yeah, if you want. Sure.
It says a fence, and I'm curious if that's the fence that's already there.
Yeah, she's submitted that. That's the one that was. It was, Tom went out there and told me they didn't have a permit for it.
So
So
why-
he actually submitted a picture of the fence, but she's not here for the pre-app.
So why would she go to a pre-app if she already built it?
Because she has to get our approval.
I know, why didn't you just go straight to a,
I don't think she met the timeline on it.
pardon me?
I don't think she met the timeline to be on the public hearing.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need. Two more. Conversation.
Public communications, I only have an email. I think if you
Oh,
were-
okay.
No, he's on, yeah, he don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was on that one too from Ruth Crocker.
Correct.
Yeah.
But did you, are you gonna just put that email in the record? Or do I need to read the email?
For this?
No, there was
Oh,
an
no.
email to Tom Zanaridi today, a couple hours ago.
All right, I think that was from Jerry, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jerry Slack.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this. You might want to read it in.
Well, why doesn't Tom just add it to the agenda for next time? Because it was emailed to Tom, not to, I was just CC'd on it.
As was I.
He'll be here next time anyway.
Okay. Okay, so anything else?
Yeah, I have other communication. Are there other public communications? I would like to make one. I don't know if it's from me to Anne Marie Greffenheit. If you've gone and looked at, and I'd like to invite any of you to sign it if you want to sign it. It's not official on the town letter that I think, so I might be the only signature, or you guys might also jump in on it if you want. It's up to you. Here it is. She's the owner of 3 Orchard Lane.
Yeah.
And if you've looked recently, she put in a lot of wood picket fence to cover up the fence. She went way farther than any of the things that we told her. She went farther than she had to go. She's almost all the way back to the corner. So I think she did an admirable job. So my letter says, dear, I can read it, or you guys can look at it, or read it. Dear Anne Marie, I'm not sure if I'm the only one here, so there's a slash. Appreciate your time, effort, and expense to successfully and completely resolve issues regarding the certificate of appropriateness on the fence installed on your property at 3 Orchard Lane. Your actions accomplished 3 things. You successfully closed the communication gap between the HTC commissioners and yourself. You increased the historic character of your neighborhood. And you improved neighborhood harmony by responding to a neighbor's concerns. With gratitude, Ed Keaton. I'd like to invite you guys to sign it too. Clearly it's up to you. I brought a pen for the occasion.
Can I have a look at what you did and then sign it after?
I can show you a picture of it if you want.
Just, no, I haven't even looked back. Just bring it next time.
Yeah, I think we should all take the walk by and
We'll
look.
do it next time. I'm
Take
not
a look
against
at it.
signing
She
but I
did, she
don't-
did a nice job.
Yeah.
You know where I live, but I haven't paid attention.
All right.
But I will, assuming it's fine, I will tell.
Yeah, no, I'm the same
I
thing.
can show you a picture now if you want. It's good enough. Yeah.
I'll just look. Yeah.
I think I should say commission.
Well, I was trying to stay less official, a little more personal, but I think thinks he's done nice work on that. I want to acknowledge that.
And I agree with Ted. I think it should be more of a personal thing than a official thing, because I don't know. I mean, that's a question for
So
Cedar.
that's why I left off the titles and all that stuff. I'll wait if you guys are interested in signing it. If you're not, I'm just gonna send it to her myself. So I'm just.
I think there is some interest on the board, but we just want to get a visual.
Very good.
Now.
Pre-application.
No, it's old business, but it's gotta get added. Or it has a motion to be added. But I have to jump out of that one, so anyways, we should circle back on that after, but we'll do Adam, so you can get out of here. Approval of the minutes on April 4th.
I read them. There were some my typo formatting things I gave to Peter, and maybe they don't really need to be corrected to change the meaning of the minutes of April 4th. So with that said, I hope maybe the next time the formatting will be a little better on the minutes for this meeting. But I would move that we approve the minutes.
And that's Ted Keatsman saying.
Pardon me?
You have to identify yourself.
Ted Keatsman, we're moving to approve the minutes.
Goodman, I'll second. All in favor?
Brady, I.
Goodman, aye.
Levinson, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keatsman, aye.
The minutes are approved. I have to recuse myself from this, so I will seat you, Goodrich, for Goodman, and I will just jump out. So,
Okay, Don.
Okay, you're up.
All right. Thanks for getting in tonight. Adam Young, 5 Water Street, at Big Shop.
Yeah, we have to move to amend the agenda to allow you to speak.
Okay.
Goodrich, second.
I'll make a motion to move, amend the agenda so that
And
We can
then the
give us-
agenda to add.
to add.
Or
Adam.
was he already on the agenda?
No, he wasn't on. So Ferguson makes a motion to amend the agenda so that we can listen to Adam's presentation.
To add.
Motion to add.
Motion to
Motion
add.
to add.
Brady, second.
Goodrich, aye.
Brady, I.
Levinson, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keatsman, aye. Adam, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name.
Young, Adam Young.
Like young buns.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that's.
That would be the same one, yeah.
That's
All right, just checking. I've met you before.
Yes, we have met.
KYT.
Yes. One. So I am here to rectify and request a modification on an existing approved plan for 5 Water Street or Upper Deck. There was an unfortunate error. Oh, I'm sorry. There was an error. In the original rendering that was approved. I think the best way to visualize this would be in A106, which is the last page of your packet. There is an approved packet and a new packet. You each have 2 sets. So the one above, one says approved at the top, and one goes, one may not say anything, but the original one is approved. So what we have changed, or proposing to change, I should say, is this, and the best, this is from, if you're looking at the northern elevation from the side, the view of the standard building. Okay. This gable here, originally, these 2 pillars sunk in on the previously approved plan. You can see this. They're in recess roughly 2 to 3 feet in either direction, leaving kind of this open space. The whole purpose of this was to weatherproof the upper deck. So a portion on each side of the gable was exposed. So I had Peter Springsteel's our architect broaden that gable out by another roughly 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet in either direction. Align the pillars with the existing columns underneath in the first floor in an effort to completely cover the building.
I'm confused. Didn't Peter talk about this?
It was a pre-application.
Isn't this a pre-application?
No, I'm assuming, Adam, you're asking us to modify it in our old business.
That's correct. Yep.
So this is a public hearing? I'm confused about.
He's trying to amend previous approval.
But did Peter ask that same question? Did Peter?
I know,
already
but
do this?
are we doing it as like? It. I'm confused by the process. Sorry, I'm the newest guy. So. Are we gonna issue him a certificate of approval based on this conversation? Is that possible? Because this wasn't noticed in the paper, for example.
So since we did add it under old business, we
Yeah.
can legally discuss it. I think it's up to us if we want to offer an approval or not, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think we have a lot of control over the agenda as we've been doing, but I didn't.
Peter, what's your feeling?
I
Can we,
thought- I
is this
thought
something we
for
can
stuff-
authorize it under
people
old
to get a
business?
COA, the public has to have a chance to participate.
I'd say if you change in the way that the detail was, it should be an amendment and go regular public hearing. Like we've done on everybody else.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were trying for a real COA right here, right now. And I derailed that, and no, I don't like to derail people that are on course, but.
So we should have a motion to continue this. The next hearing.
Wait,
Probably put on for public for coming in for approval.
So this is, let me, I make a motion to continue this. Until the next public hearing.
Ferguson
I'm
second.
confused because it's not a public hearing. I don't think it's a public hearing in the first place. Because in order to be a public hearing, it has to be, in order to be a public hearing where you can get a COA, it has to
Wait,
be
hang
noticed
on.
to the public. There has to be public notice.
they're just widening
So
the
that the
table.
public could come and complain about it.
So
a
it's
John
already been-
procedural kind of rule,
It-
right?
it's-
They said we can't continue.
Because it doesn't exist yet.
I don't want to get into like, I don't want to get into his.
Yeah, so, but give me
just
some
to
advice
chat
on
with him.
from a
So.
procedural point of view. I'm in.
Right, so- so-
John's side here, like I'm always like, let's.
Hang on,
let's
from a
have judgment.
procedural point of view,
Yeah,
strictly procedural, since we have no special rule that governs this. We're governed by Robert's Rules of Order, which technically, which technically means we could vote on this if we have a 2/3 majority that votes to do that. That is within our purview. Past that, I mean, it's kind of up to us how we want to handle it.
I understand what you're saying, and I disagree. Because I think the rules do say you have to have public notice, and it's in the rules about they have to put it in the paper. And they have to, people have to have an opportunity to come.
For COA. but all you-
Right, there's already been a COA issued. This is modifying a COA.
So it's just it's a
I
small modification to an
The
existing
only
COA.
reason why I just think you should think about it, because I think going
So
back to
the
Perry
public's
Lorenz
had their
point,
chance, is what we're
like
saying.
going back to Perry Lorenz points, a lot of changes in construction.
Yeah.
They came in and want to change this round window to square window to make him have to go back to the whole
All right.
thing. I don't know that I feel that.
I know it's kind of funny. You and I are flip flopping on this one, Ted.
We in Bizarro.
Let's switch seats and really mess them up, Ted.
As a commission. Changes that are.
Yeah, all right. So this, right. okay.
That dramatically change the plan. If you've got something here where you're just.
So he's amending an existing.
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let me ask just
He's
a question.
He's correcting
To correct. amending.
or fixing it, because it. All right.
So
all right.
let me just ask a question.
So it's a small change.
I mean, are you guys ready to go at him? Would 2 weeks hold up your,
Yes.
cut into your summer
Yep,
season,
I'm
hurt your
ready to start
business?
7 a.m. tomorrow
Yeah.
morning.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
All right, good. I'm good. I'm fine with continuing. I think I know what we're doing now, and it makes more sense to me. So sorry for the interruption.
No, please.
So that we're clear, that been saying that we're, this is an amendment and it's been
Right,
modification.
right.
And so it's been any questions about proposed amendment?
I would like to. hear-
Yeah, I'm just gonna say from staff point of view, it should go back for public hearing. You guys do what you want, but that's staff's opinion. Because we've done it all in the past, and the public should have a say on it. The expansion of the use, it's expanding out. It's not the same footprint.
Actually, I think the building footprint is the same.
Yeah, the
roof
building is, but the roof
Footprint
isn't.
is changing.
The roof isn't. The roof's expanding outward.
I mean, I'm gonna say something that's probably really controversial. What you guys have let go next door and say it's fine, I don't think is fair to Mr. Young. And that's, slap me later for saying it, but that's my opinion.
I'm just giving the opinion of staff.
Yeah, but
Guys, go on.
when I fought the other building, I was told, oh, well, so I don't see why we would make the difference here, but that's, again, my opinion.
He's actually on the agenda for, so.
That was never on the agenda. It never got approved.
Okay, but let me just. So Peter talked to us about it. We understood it all, and that was a pre-app. So I was thinking like, why? Which when they're ready to do it, it would be here as a real public hearing and it'd fix it. But we're saying that he was told that it's not necessary because it's a minor change to an existing approval. So that's what our applicant was told, right? I guess staff, by somebody, I don't know.
So again, I'm just gonna say this. I think, given Robert's Rules of Order, it's within our purview to vote on this if we choose to, and it's up to the commission. I'm not taking a position on one way or the other. It's just what everybody's comfortable with.
No, I don't think it's a Robert's rules issue. It's what's our policy and what is.
It's a little Robert's rules issue if you say that this is just amending a COA we just issued.
That's what I was.
That's a greater area. I mean, if it was a brand new application, we'd say, hey, you gotta go through the public hearing process. But a lot of public hearings, they start and then it gets continued. So that when they actually get it, you know, it can be several weeks later in the public that had to be following it all the way there, right? And this is
So if I can, I'm gonna make maybe a silly example. We had an applicant earlier today that had a wall that was approved on a first earlier application that he's now putting stone veneer on. We didn't make him do anything on that because we had already approved the concrete wall. So maybe it's a little apples and oranges, but to me, this is sort of the same thing. We've already approved it. We're just changing the pitch of the roof a little bit. But that's my
the idea
opinion.
is that in the earlier one, the public had a chance, it's kind of the public had a chance.
And the public had a chance on this one too. This has already been approved. This addition was approved a year ago or 6 months ago, something like that, a while ago. Yeah. So this has already had a public hearing, just like that retaining wall had a public hearing. Just like that retaining wall is not getting
Yeah, yeah.
veneered in stone. We're changing the
Okay.
pitch, but that's my opinion. That's my
There
opinion.
hasn't been a hearing, the expansion of the roof.
Yeah, so, okay, so where are we? I mean, I'm willing to go ahead.
I'm willing to go ahead if it's up to the other guys, so.
I'm still trying to figure out.
Todd, what are you thinking?
I think
And
that
that's exactly the point. It's almost impossible to tell. That there isn't anything in the first place. This, I'm sorry, to cut you off, Todd. So you see these doors on the side, there, it's assessing the property. Even this portion of the patio exposed. Broad, I mean, back out.
So this is basically consistent with that.
That's correct, yeah. And it's consistent with the existing footprint of the lower level.
So,
Well, we couldn't say that.
I don't think that Perry was back in for public hearing on his veneer of the wall. I mean, he wasn't here. He was publicly disclosed that he was going to put the veneer on the wall. So I think that that's distinguishable from this situation. I mean, typically in the past, when someone wants to make a change to a certificate of appropriateness, we typically have another public hearing about it. Practically speaking, I'm a big advocate of practicality, you know, and ignoring certain rules that we have to. I don't think it's material. Now, that is a judgment.
right,
It's a subjectively objective judgment, meaning, who knows? But I'm sympathetic with the issues of, you know, getting things done, and I also understand the vagaries of construction, which are legion, you know, I mean, it's just a constant. So, because I consider the change not really material and or distinguishable by 98% of the people who might look at it, I'm willing to go along if the commission feels that they want to go back. But I think we should probably try going forward and clarify this issue.
Trying to avoid it.
So that we don't have these issues
Well,
arise.
because I'd phrase it this way, that, I'm comfortable with it too. But it's possible then it could theoretically get challenged. And they could say, we didn't follow procedure, and it's, you know, undone, and then it kind of leaves you in this limbo, right? So it's partly we're taking a little risk maybe, but you're also taking risk if somebody doesn't like it. Now, I think it's small enough that it's worth pursuing or I'm comfortable going ahead with it.
And I mean,
But
here's why I
think
look
we're
at
a little on the, I don't know, it's a little on. the
Here's why I look at it
edge.
too. We're not restoring. It's not like this is the oldest building in town that he's trying to restore. This is a modern addition. It's in keeping with everything else that he's done. It's not like he's going out and building something completely
Historically, it
different.
doesn't make any difference, right? That's-
But at the same time, Adam, from the standpoint of recommending what you might or might not do. If the commission in fact votes to approve this, I don't think it would hurt. So you won't get this vote, you could come back in, you could reapply for a public hearing and come in and validate in a public hearing context, the change that we approved tonight.
Sure.
If you just want to cover your track. Well, because you won't approve anything, the work's already been done. or
Oh,
whatever.
no, I would just abstain.
That's not approving. So in other words, you hear what I'm saying, that if you're concerned about someone bringing a lawsuit to challenge this,
Yeah, it's not.
That's what we have retainers for.
right, then I would suggest that you might want to just go ahead.
So I didn't realize I was opening the can.
No, you're perfectly fine. You are in good company. I receive death threats in the mail regularly. Okay, so no one understands the wake of liability better than I do. And I appreciate that everybody at this table, of course, wants to make sure everything is airtight. So if I need to come back in 2 weeks to validate, as you say, if this is approved, I'm certainly happy to do so.
But then you're at risk because you go ahead tomorrow and start construction, and then you come back in 2 weeks and we say no. Then whatever started has to be redone. Or fixed.
Well, there's no permit in place yet.
So we can't start.
Right, correct. Correct.
I think if you approve, we could technically pull permits right away. However, we wouldn't get to the point in construction over the next 2 weeks where we would even be. That could still be rectified in the unlikely event that it was denied.
Adam, can I ask you a question?
Of course,
Does it make a huge difference if we approve it tonight or 2 weeks?
I would prefer that it's approved tonight.
Is it? That better word. Would it hurt your business if you had to wait 2 weeks?
Yes. And the reason why is because we have several $100,000. And additionally, several $100,000 payroll and salary that I'm carrying. The further and further we get past Memorial Day weekend, my payroll's $100,000 a week. I've already hired and secured all these folks. 40 for the upper rooftop deck alone that will have to stay on my payroll with unfinished project. So every
you
week
can't
that
use
goes
the
by,
deck until the project's done.
that's correct.
And probably the best time is between probably Labor Day
Yeah.
to use that deck.
Generates $1 million a year via payroll tax, an additional 1.5 million in sales tax revenue.
Understanding, of course, that financial issues are known.
I was just gonna say, this.
But they are kind of to me, so.
They are,
Just so you
it's
know.
just a lot. I think we give people a little bit of, it's
Context.
just, yeah, sure, of what the operation actually looks like and what setbacks like this look like to me. And the monetary value by every week is roughly $100,000.
Is there a picture of what it's going to look like?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's on the pages that
Yeah,
precede.
if we turn to the design itself.
This was the original design. What are
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
The difference between this posting there.
Oh, so there were two.
Yeah.
Is that, okay, I just didn't see that.
Sure.
Thank you.
This is the driveway
Yeah.
shares with the standard.
So it makes the roof flatter,
Well, it's also.
broader.
So it gets
Hey,
broader as
Adam,
well.
can I ask you one other question?
course.
Why didn't you apply for an application tonight? Why are you coming under old business?
Well, frankly, no one really noticed this until very recently. We passed this through roughly 6 months ago, and at the time, we were ready to pull the trigger on building right away. I've had many issues since then, so we've kind of put this project on hold and then going back to make sure we were getting ready to pull permits, et cetera. Revisiting all the elevations. It is 100% my fault that this is not cotton day one was rectified before we even presented it the first time. But I do think that the scope of the modification doesn't necessarily. Right.
Because procedurally, what we have is, we still have. Request to amend the existing application. And we, is there any other discussion of that issue? If I'm describing it correctly, that's, I can see what you say.
Yeah, that's what I look at too. We're
That's a good way to put it.
amending already approved COA. Is that what you're saying, Don?
Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
Yes. I like that word.
so then are there any motions or other questions?
Can we make a stipulation that he comes back? Part of this.
You can,
No, I think just build it the way it shows in the drawings. I mean, I think we approve this change. I move to approve this modification to his existing COA.
Heitzman,
Eastman moves to approve the modification to his existing COA.
Goodrich will second.
Any discussion before I call the question?
I still want the public to know about this. I really feel it's important that we're consistent. So what's your, I would like to amend the motion that he comes back. You know, with public notice being held that showing the work that he's done.
So are you making a motion?
I want to add.
And his emotion.
I want to amend. this one. But that's just my opinion. You asked for discussion, I'm giving you my opinion
Right.
before we.
And I'm just asking procedurally, if you want to put it into a motion or? you just-
I would like that as a stipulation of.
So you're amending his motion.
That's why I say I'm amending Keatsman's motion.
And you
Ferguson
second.
is amending Keatsman.
Wait, hang on.
Need a second. If you're-
We would need a second.
Oh, okay.
Anybody seconding? Motion passed.
Okay.
All right, so we'll call the original question.
Goodrich, aye.
Brady, aye.
Levinson, aye.
Ferguson abstain.
Eastman, aye.
Motion modified.
Thank you.
Giving us a nice twist of procedure, but that's okay.
I will, listen. 100% my fault, like I said. That would be. Yep, leave it.
Yeah.
That fan.
Oh, no, we do the small one.
This is.
So, Chairman, are you back in? I need a 2 minutes.
Yes.
You're welcome to keep it like.
Eric, do you need these? Or
He's already gone.
there you go.
Right, so we're having a motion to adjourn.
We just recess.
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 All right, we'll start the meeting back at 8:13 PM. I'd like to just make a motion to discuss the old business and changing pre-existing COAs. But we added.
Oh, am I still seated?
No.
Okay.
Someone second that.
I'll second that. Eastman seconds the, whatever he said.
Eric, just speak louder. I can
sorry.
barely hear you.
So my motion is just to be able to discuss modifications of COAs under old business going forward. Keatsman second, so all in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Levinson, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Eastman, aye.
Okay, so instead of dragging this out to a long discussion. I saw his point of why he was doing that. Of how to do it. I think that I think it's tough because I think that there are certain scenarios where we should be able to give a little bit of leeway without requiring something to come back in. I think there's other scenarios where if it's like a dramatic change to windows or facade or like other stuff that I think that they should come back in. I think we have to just kind of play it by ear and what we feel is like significant and what isn't. That's where it's a little tough.
So I'd like to add to that, you know, even SHPA, Peter and I have a different opinion about the presentation, said it, each situation is a case by case. And I believe, you know, you got to kind of treat neighbors the same. So if one neighbor is being treated a certain way and given leeway, the other neighbor gets the same leeway, which is personally why I voted the way I did tonight. Just the way I would look at it moving forward.
And my point was, I think this is a historic district. We're part of a community and I don't want any semblance of something happened behind, you know, a closed door. That he came on a night where there were no people in the stands, there was no one online, and he made this modification quote unquote secretly, even though it was not secret. But I just I would feel more comfortable that the community knew what was happening before it was happening.
It was just tough because the plans that were submitted, the plan part shows the stuff out there, the rendering part shows it differently. The rendering showed it a little smaller, the plan shows it bigger. That's why we caught it, because I was like, these lumber dimensions don't work.
Okay.
So
That what? Okay, so that changes everything, because that was not verbalized.
I was trying not to talk.
Eric, no, misunderstand. I'm just saying, like, that would have changed my.
So like the construction, you're building it according to the construction drawings?
So the original drawings that were sent, the
Yeah.
drawing part that we got copies of. And the rendering.
Right, I get it.
And here's the thing, Bill, I don't think it's secret because he got a COA for the, what's called the meat potatoes, the actual addition. You know, there's a change in the pitch of the roof. And at the end of the day, nothing happens here secretly. This is being broadcast live. It'll be on GMTV within an hour for anybody to watch. And if anybody is so aggrieved, they got between tomorrow and 15 days to appeal it. So it's, you know, as I've said, I'm a big safety net guy. I think it should always be a safety net, and there's a safety net on this one. It's not like, you know, tomorrow it's lock solid and.
So really, it almost sounds like it's not even an amendment. An approved application, just.
Oh,
changing the
Clarification, yeah, the rendering wasn't right compared to.
The only thing is he submitted the renderings. So like, it was just across.
So the renderings were not consistent with the plan.
Right,
And so now it's just making the renderings consistent with the plan. So they were.
right, because Peter modified the architectural drawings after the structural engineer modified the steel drawings. And there was just a cross and. Adam never wanted it small. Peter drew it that way. I don't know why. I mean, it's just whatever. But I think like the gentleman that came in about changing out the window from a scroll round window to a scroll window, I think that's the kind of stuff that could be under both business. If someone goes to order something and they're like, hey, I can't get the window, like. Come back in 2 weeks to get a new application, to wait 11 weeks to order a window, like. But if someone's like that example with the house where it's supposed to be a bay or a picture window with two side windows and they switched them all out to all double hungs, even though it looks better, that's the kind of thing that should come into the application. That's just, to me, is like, it's a different product.
Okay, so can I get some clarity for the next meeting? I have Mystic Pizza looking to come back in, and there was a couple of things on their plans. One is they had to change the pitch of the roof a little bit when they put in for the wall going into the roof deck area. So they changed that pitch and it altered it about 1 degree, 2 degree change on that. He was going to come in for an approval on that. He's also coming in for an approval on a change of lights up top.
Well, I think that you should encourage everyone to come in with a new application, no matter what, encourage it. But in a scenario like this where he's very politely asking to get going. I mean,
But in fairness, that's the first time we've even seen it. I didn't know he was going to be coming in tonight with this at all.
I thought Peter was coming, but
You know,
yeah, but apparently Peter also missed, I guess, a bunch of deadlines, so.
Well, and I'm going to say this too. This is just so the commission knows how I think, the public knows how I think. You know, if this was the oldest house in Mystic that had been untouched, I probably would have been less likely to do something, you know. This is pretty much a new building. So changing the roof pitch a little bit, I don't, you know, And frankly, I've seen the drawings, and when you compare the drawings, you can hardly tell, and I'm saying this is not that he would do this, and not that I'm saying to do it, and I would never approve it, but I'll bet if he had done it and not told us, nobody would have known. It's that slight of a difference.
I mean, in this scenario, you're talking about over the course of 2,000 square foot thing, it's that much.
It could have easily had been a public hearing though, because
I think he,
gonna
I
do
think he
way
wanted to.
back,
I think
so,
that the meeting,
you know, they kind of.
I think he wanted to, but I think that Peter missed the
Right.
deadline. from what I understand. But I think we do have the ability to make minor changes. I just think we just need to see what's minor. I think we need to be really careful not to let it overreach into like.
I agree with all that, but also I'm sensitive to Bill's thing about, you know, the public has a chance to attend, right? And so they need that opportunity. So we got to be careful that we're not getting so far that, you know, somebody says,
Yeah.
I miss, you know, I was interested in that,
On the
whatever that
practical,
change was.
like, there was some-
So but it's back to,
2 feet wider on either end.
no, it's back to Eric's point about take some judgment. So there's,
Yeah, no. I think also if there's a consistent approach across the members, I think if there's a lot of debate over like is or isn't, it should always be clean. I think if there's not like close to unanimous or unanimous agreement, then I think it should be tabled. That's where I think it's like, wait a minute, something's not, doesn't smell right. But something like this where it seemed like, you know, all were like. You know. Except for Bill, Anthony, probably.
Exactly.
That's my 2 cents. Moving on, the HCC handbook update. So I don't know, did anyone get a chance to look at it? Yes. Did anyone have any comments? Because I have just a couple minor ones.
So I left my computer in my car, but I have been doing track changes on it and was gonna submit it to whoever I was appropriate. I didn't know we were gonna go over it note by note kind of thing. Is that your plan?
I was gonna go note by note, but you can definitely submit it and I can put it in and I can merge the documents.
Yeah,
So here's what I think we should do. I'm gonna make a suggestion. You guys can decide if you want to do it. So I sit on the property reuse committee also, and have a working document. And what we do is and I talked to Eric, I failed to do it. I was out of town and I didn't look at it, so I'll be right up front. I know, here you wanna. But what we do is we do track changes, we submit it to the chair, and then town staff puts it on the agenda. That way we can see it and the public can see what we're doing, and it's completely transparent and everybody sees the changes every week. So I would suggest we follow the same.
and that's kind of like, I didn't know that was this is Ferguson speaking. I didn't know.
No, that was good, Rich, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
didn't know that was happening somewhere else, but that was from a simple editing point of view. I thought that's what we were gonna.
So why don't we kind of work 2 weeks in arrears? So we'll go over the new stuff for the next time, but we'll talk about this stuff after you all send it to me and I'll merge it into one.
All right.
I think that's a good idea.
The only problem, I don't have a computer, so I have to put it right here manually. and have to hand the copies.
Or what you can do, if you want to get with me, I can scan it.
Is. You can give it to me or I can scan it or whatever.
Yeah.
Add it.
I have it.
Yeah.
so for a second, I thought I heard like we're gonna have a shared document like on the
So what
World Wide Web somewhere, because those kind of things are available. Everybody goes to it and go to the library, use their computer, look at the. If you get all trained up, you can be working on a same master.
If you
document.
send me your comments, I can merge them into this one document. And
Okay,
I'll just merge it section by, I'll merge it every 2 weeks. And then we'll circulate it prior to the next meeting.
And then like, so you can put it on the agenda too, so everybody can see it. That's all.
It'll say like your
I,
comment, my comment.
I'm back one level though. I mean, instead of wordsmithing any of them, I'm just gonna ask like. As an example. We want to preserve historic gutters, and I thought maybe someone could explain to me how much we want to preserve historic gutters, because it's one of the first things I came to, you know, said you can't change historic gutters. I'm like, gee, really? We haven't seen any historic gutter cases in the last 5 years that I've been kind of watching the commission.
Because
And I'm wondering if it really even needs to be
Quite
on
frankly,
there.
they've all been ripped off.
Yeah,
or
and it
covered
seems
over.
like a. I don't know, I mean,
Well, a lot of historic gutters they refer to, I think, are the ones that are built in.
Yankee. gutters.
yeah, I know what they look like, they're horrible.
Well, we had a Yankee gutter. if you-
I mean, they're historic, I get it, but they're a maintenance nightmare,
Oh, they were, yeah. They,
so.
yeah.
And there's only a couple houses that actually even have them, but I don't know if we want to continue to make them a.
So that would be.
So I want to have
something
some
that on the merged
discussion
Document
about-
that could be
right.
brought up in the context of going through it piece by piece.
Well, and I think ultimately too, we have to have a public hearing on all these changes anyhow,
right,
so.
we have to agree on.
Right.
what we want to present.
Right, and so I think, yeah, we all kind of, it's kind of what we do at the PRUC, we all kind of put our ideas together, we hash them back and forth. Come to a consensus, and then it's gonna be up to the public to agree to it too.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to clarify, is that even if we like what we've done, it's this, it changes to like regulated and unregulated activities. That's the first 6 pages, yes, it's a look at. But eventually become a public hearing operation, like we're telling
Yeah,
people. We
just like,
decided you don't have to come to us with historic gutters anymore, for example.
it's just
Well,
like,
the
a just like a
entire
text.
document would be.
Yeah,
We're gonna go through the whole thing.
reviewed in
before we
the
bring it to
context of the public hearing.
yeah.
Uh,
But then when you submit it for a public hearing, if no one shows up to comment on it,
It goes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
right? All right.
but some of my stuff was more, I'll just using this as an example.
Yeah.
So was actually more, some of it about wordsmithing. Because there was like a comment in there, as a town of Groton, indeed, much of the nation emerges from a long period of expansion. That's like 10 years, 20 years old.
Oh, in the
Yeah.
intro?
So I just deleted that. Like,
Oh, okay.
there's a couple things like that, but besides that, I didn't really get into,
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
Right.
I did have a freedom of information, if, you get the document, somebody can theoretically file a FOI request to get your document as it's in process. You want it out to the world that.
well, they're gonna get it anyways, because I'm gonna give it to him to put on the next agenda.
Right, that's why on the PRUC, Don, we put it as the agenda, so it's there, it's public. It is a public
It's just gonna be
document.
one
that-
document with everyone's comments and their own comments.
I mean, Don, I don't understand enough about freedom of information, but would it be subject to a freedom of information request regardless whether
Absolutely.
it was revealed or not? It would be, would it not?
It would.
It doesn't matter what it's revealed.
Right, so the individual machinations or comments or anything else will all be subject to a freedom of.
Correct.
So,
It's all the same. in the end.
period, right?
Yeah, and we're making it public before they ask for it.
I'm just giving you a heads up that if they say, this is a stupid idea, you know, somebody can.
Yeah, I would be careful what you say.
I don't have a problem with that, both have transparency. If
Yeah.
you think it's a stupid idea, then you can say so.
But real quick, I can show you guys. So here's the document that we're working on. See how it's all highlighted. It's gonna say, if a town staff member, if one of the commissioners said it. And this is on the agenda. You go on our agenda for tomorrow night's meeting, you can read it all. So it's being done on another commission. See the highlights,
What's that connection?
property reuse commission for town, property reuse for town-owned properties.
All right, I saw your name.
The other thought is you do it as a special meeting prior to the actual meeting.
We could do that too.
That's what we did in my other town. We went through the regulations and we just had a special meeting an hour before our other meeting. We hashed it out before the actual meeting was. So it's a special meeting specifically going over sections of
The final. handbook.
yeah, it was a workshop. Basically, it was a workshop going over all the changes we wanted to.
I personally think if everyone can just take, so we did these first 6 pages.
So
If everyone could just send them to me.
can I just hand you these?
Yeah, I can do it, yeah, and then I can incorporate them into it. Yeah. And then,
I've got them all memorized right here.
and then what we'll do is, I'll put it on the agenda for next time, then we can
We'll
just
go
go
over
through
the
it,
six.
and we'll just do a comment.
Yep, and I, again, no problem.
Because some of mine aren't to change anything. They're just like, what's the deal with historic gutters? So some of it I just want to have a discussion about, right? Like, or solar stuff. There's something we get a lot and we're like, do we want to make some?
But there was some, I think, value in the wordsmithing too, because like, I guess
Okay.
one of my comments was. Fall under the jurisdiction of the Historic District Commission, a proposed construction activity must be visible from general public view. I said reason,
Yeah.
because that's something that's like come up.
Well, that's a good point.
You know, it's just a minor change, but just so people can understand, like. You know, if you gotta stand on top of a rock and turn sideways and look, you know, through binoculars, it's not.
So if you also, Eric, with regard to say that the factory square foot garbage, if you read. the
Saw
what's
that,
here, according to what they have here, that would be subject to.
Yeah, that's whatever.
And then I guess the issue there is, well, do we want it to be or not be? But that's
Right.
another thing we could discuss.
Right, right.
We're not making changes to the buffers. Discussing that.
I just had a couple changes to that general, just that. Part one piece. But I had four words I had to change. That was okay. And then my only comment on the preface part was just deleting that thing about the expansive growth, because that's from 1997.
Yeah. Sorry, a little. Sure. So do we have homework then for the next meeting on this topic?
Well, you already completed your homework.
Oh, so no homework.
Are you adding another section for the next meeting too, or no?
Yes, we went through 1-6. I think we should just.
1-6, 1-6.
No, we did one.
4.
1 to 1.
Oh, it's a 4. Okay, so then we should just go from 1-5 to, so it's. I'm gonna go 1-5 to 1-12, because that gets you through the appeals.
All right, so 1.1 to 1.12. It would just denoted as 1.12.
1-12.
Yeah.
It's the last part of that is appeals. That's.
1.12.
Yeah. That gets
So
you,
these are all about procedures.
yeah, that gets you to page 35 in the documents, if you're opening it for it. And then, yeah, well, we won't talk about that next time, but you'll give me that and then we can talk about this. But like I said, we'll have one copy that you can all look at. We can just go comment by comment.
Okay.
I have 1-5 through
1-12. It's kind of a deciding, but it's still certainly appropriate. Okay, so I just wanted to bring it up. But I think, not to drag this on, but I think the down point. If there's something that should be like fixed on the words, when we review that makes sense, like reasonable, I think we should do it. I think getting into like. Only words, I think that would. We'll never agree, never write it.
So you know,
That's what it sounded like.
you don't want to get my list.
You could.
No, I don't think I will. You can't like with the.
There wasn't.
Peter, are those signs you were sharing?
I-
Those are signs you're sharing?
Can I go to the next one?
Yeah, you want to.
That's the next.
All right,
All right, so we have this, we have the laminating machine, so it costs nothing. So you don't have to worry about, like, paying for
I
it.
have my checkbook and everything. ready
You got
to
a
go.
choice of colors or the laminate. We got a 3 mil and a 5 mil. So you can take a look at this and you got colors to choose from. If you want to change anything on the actual wording. take a look at it. You have a favorite, Peter? Yep. You have a preference? Which one do you like the best? I like the orange.
I agree. I like the orange best. I like the orange 5 mil.
That was not changed. The big wordy thing we talked about.
Yeah.
The fonts and everything. taken care of.
Historic District Commission notice of meeting. An application for a certificate of appropriateness at this address for the following project. Is that,
No, that's not what we said. We had.
well, we were gonna put the word for in here. Historic District Commission notice, well, Historic District Commission notice of meeting, I suppose that's title, right?
Right.
An application for a certificate of appropriateness at this address for the following project.
Now, are they gonna handwrite that or are you guys gonna type that before you laminate it?
It's gonna be historic font.
Okay,
Ye old.
You say it has been submitted or anything.
No, seriously. Well, that's what
It
I'm.
could be written with the mark.
I didn't know how custom you guys are getting.
An application for a certificate of appropriateness at this address for the following project. It has been submitted or something, it just sort of, it just sort of doesn't,
So
yeah.
I thought you should say has been submitted for the following.
You guys write on there, whatever you want.
We'll put it in there.
An application has been submitted for a certificate of appropriate. I think that's a little clearer. No one can read my writing.
It's neither. So
Here,
we're saying
it's-
an application for a certificate. of
An application has been submitted for a certificate of appropriateness at this address for the following. Passive voice, I apologize for that, rewrite the whole sentence and change that, but I can do it.
I think this address for the following project. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Is there some reason why that's all smaller font than anything else? That.
I'll figure it out.
You got.
You want to make it bold to make it. bold.
Yeah, right forward. And then we're supposed to weigh the weight of this. Go 5 mil.
It's 3 mil and 5 mil.
5 mils better.
Yeah, 5 mils better.
Better. Anyone else want to fill these things?
I'll take a look at one of them.
Nice. And what wants to vote for the color?
I voted orange.
Yeah, I think this was right.
Application. Do they have orange with black stripes on it? I'm joking.
Store catching.
Okay,
Historic
the
activity.
only comment I'll make on in terms of the color is that just from the standpoint of signage and visibility. Yellow is the most visible of these colors. If anyone cares.
I like yellow.
I like the lemon yellow person.
That will be noticed.
Okay,
I'm fine.
I'm good with that.
The other thing is,
And
what's,
it's the deep yellow.
Is it 5 or is it the 3?
We want to do
Five,
three.
5 mil brilliant yellow.
what's the date?
Well, fine.
The date of our meeting. The date of our meeting.
Is that clear? I mean, the date is the date of the hearing or the date the application was filed? It could be-
I think the meeting date is just on. It's just.
Somebody's gonna understand it because they're gonna read, whatever date, 7 PM at town hall. I think when you put in there,
Oh, because it does say notice of meeting.
The date of the meeting.
Okay.
We're not trying to use this.
Could say meeting date at the bottom, too, that's fine.
But I think we're not trying to use this as like. We're not gonna try to use this as the only method.
No, of course,
I still got.
Right. So Don, on your notes there, did you put down the bright yellow color? If you're writing your notes on me. And you put down 5 mil.
I think this just solves the. I hate that.
Yeah, it's just another.
Is that
really gets at the
two
neighbors.
months?
Right, it's the neighbors that
Whatever.
That don't read the paper.
that come back after the
Yeah.
fact.
A lot of floors. A little bit of an upgrade.
Can't read your handwriting.
My wife's-
Let's see, has been submitted. Bald?
That's me, it's bold.
Bold, okay. That's a bald.
all.
They get
Bright
no
yellow,
hair,
5 mil.
no hair on that. Fine.
Okay, any new business?
I don't know if you want to bring up a motion for enforcement update. Sure. Put it on the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda, the zoning enforcement update.
A second. Goodman. All in favor?
Brady, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, I.
Let's add it to the agenda. Can you just add it every time?
Under old business, old business and new business. New business, you have to run under new.
These all.
I'm supposed to get out to new business, but we don't have to list the specifics because Tom gets it to me today. This is when I get it, so.
What's 46 Snow Street?
That's a new one. AC units installed without permits. The units are in the neighbor's property, but they are visible from a public way, so. He was told to move him. If he moves into the back, I think he's okay as far as the unit itself. But we're in the process of trying to figure out exactly what's gonna happen with that.
What's going on with 7 Water Street?
7 Water Street, he spoke with him because he's doing a revision on the AC units on the roof. He wants to put 6 mini splits up on there, and that wasn't on the original approval. So he's got to go back to planning for the ASB approval and come back into historic district for their approval. But he's got to do the screening according to planning's approval. So I think he's probably going to do both at the same time, but he's supposed to be in on the next meeting. So.
Yeah, this. Yeah, and then for the plan. Right.
He was supposed to be here tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets to the morning tree.
Another question, can they make copies of the agenda and just have them out there? Before every meeting, so that we show up and see the agenda, and then have it all.
Yeah, trying to be more green.
I could read.
So in the 41 Pearl Street, why don't they just come for a public hearing instead of a pre-app? They didn't show it tonight. I think it's pointless to go to a pre-app. You've already built.
Probably just come in and talk, touch base with you guys, I'm assuming.
But like earlier, it'd be hard to then turn it into a, that one, I think we could not turn into a COA because there's no public opportunity to talk about the fence at all.
Right, they have to come back for a app after the pre-app.
Right, exactly.
So,
Well, if you look at, if you go into the booklet, it's like you encourage pre-applications to come in there and get this,
Sure.
open up the dialogue with the
Sure.
commission. Yeah,
they're great things to do because if we don't like it, we can fix it.
right.
Or she can fix it on a drawing versus moving the fence.
Right.
So it's a lot less risky to the homeowner. But in the case where they've already built it, see what she's gonna get out of the pre-app other than coming back again.
I don't know.
Because, it sounds like you make suggestions of pre-app and if she's already got.
Nice looking
already
fence.
Built thing.
I actually got pictures of the fence.
I guess you can do whatever she wants. I got pictures of the fence too. I'll buy it.
Nice looking iron fence, wrought
It's,
iron
I think
fence.
it's an all right looking fence.
It's a red house.
No, this is the next one. This is the side pen.
Right,
This is the
same
second
house.
time they built something without, without a COA. The side vent we approved after the fact. And now
that's when they-
they built
it's
the
that
fence.
house.
It's that house, Bonnie's open.
Maybe they were trying to screen the sideman.
Well, I think it was in the rear of the house. So I think they were.
It's in the rear.
You wouldn't see
It's
it.
a nice fence, but still,
No, because the neighbors only call me. Neighbor from the other neighbor problem. All about the fence. Like I asked.
That's when you were on the side.
Yeah, it's people get my number.
You're advertising on the building anymore?
And I put Cody's number and everything, so I wouldn't get called.
Wait, our numbers.
So they call him and then he's giving them.
What I do is just come back again.
On the town website, are they?
I'm not changing anything. It's already built.
That, I get emails.
Should. Oh, yeah.
Then.
Not from that, not from that.
I'll take my chances at the.
We have them internally, but yeah, you guys should.
Because maybe, a lot of different
Yeah,
commissioners,
people
maybe they'll.
call me, email me, they get the number and email somehow.
I don't, I agree with you. I don't think that, I don't think people who build stuff should come in for free. But I think if
I
someone.
gotta be
wants to do
discouraged
it-
from building stuff without a COA. I agree with
Yeah.
John's point, because they put themselves at risk, because we could say we don't like it, and they also put us in a little bit of a tighter spot if they've already built something.
I think you can't tell someone not to come for free, but I think.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they can do it.
Encourage just go straight to
Sure,
that.
sure, they can do it, but I don't see the point.
Well, she didn't show up anyway, so.
Yeah, I know. I had a John lecture all ready for her about she's got to come and follow part of this.
You're learning, I like it.
Because it's to her benefit to do that. If we don't like her fence, it's like she's already
It's a little
spent money.
weirded out, we traded sides here tonight, I'm not gonna go sit over there next time.
Well, she's looking, I mean, it's a repeat, it's, it's happening, it's got some track record now, which is a little more wearing off a little goodwill, I think, so.
Does anyone have any comments on any of these though? I just report a call. Kind of.
So what's their plan? They're gonna put the steps back, right?
I think
Why?
the request is to not put them back because he thinks it actually looks better without them.
Door to nowhere looks better.
I'm just reaching what he said. He can come in and request what he wants.
I think it looks.
It looks what?
A door with no
They got like. They also like-
entry other than climbing up
they
and
also
rolling through the
block
door.
that in, like, ramps, so it looks
Well,
weird.
yeah, the actual, the repair was hardly in keeping with the existing foundation. Either, in other words, it's obvious. That it was a bad.
I think it's part of it's just saying that the use of it, because they're not using that door. So I think people are making the mistake of going to that door constantly, realizing it's locked every time they go up there.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah, but then
part of it.
talk to us like putting a rail around there. I mean, there's different ways to deal with it there.
Or signage.
Not an entrance.
Could be right.
I've just given my thoughts
Well,
on it.
I don't think that was.
the thought I got about it.
I think it was for that door. I know when he was building it, I thought it was odd, but he says, well, we're not gonna use that door anyway. because
Yeah,
I
but the
just wanna
steps
leave
were,
setup.
the
So
steps
leave the
were
setup.
taken out because they wanted to put the tables. That's
Right.
what the steps were.
Right, so that's the angle I got on this thing, is that the state during the height of the pandemic, the state was trying to promote outdoor dining. Because everyone was afraid of dining inside. And so
I think
Might
that's
as
a
well
lot
was
of
a big
business
piece of
just
that.
provide.
I get it, so
When is that
but
over?
people that didn't have outdoor dining.
first.
was disadvantaged, so there's a
No,
health
May 1st.
component to it.
Yeah.
It's like
To try to,
May 1st.
Yeah, there was executive word like eight F.
yeah, so he might have got it. That way, and I think there's a. I think we have to be careful restricting outdoor dining opportunities because they expand people's economic ability. They're healthier and the state would prefer that there's. They have outdoor dining options from a health perspective.
I think outdoor dining is great. I just think that. Rip it out. Steps are just there for a long time.
I don't really think there's much of an outdoor dining opportunity on that property, at least in the
It's
front. I
pretty
mean, we're gonna do put 2 tables.
I got 4, they're pretty tight.
Yeah.
So does that mean like the barricade in front of Harvard House is gonna come down? And like. Maybe a couple other ones that are right.
I bet you by May 2nd, Public Works will be just gone.
Lose the parking spot.
Oh, like by Harvey Island.
Yeah. Been there for like 2 years.
Well, Mystic unfortunately doesn't have broad sidewalks. So even, and also on Route 1 there, you need a permission from the state, and and I think you have to end up paying lease payments to the state if you have tables and chairs on Route 1 in front of your shop, because that's in the state, right, or if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm all for out there. I think it's really great. I would encourage more people to get out. I think it's awesome. I just don't think. I don't think oddly, if we think apart, it wouldn't is the right way.
I agree.
But I also. I guess. There's no, I don't.
Probably save some of that deliberation.
Yeah, for the actual case.
Okay.
I can say who it did.
Oh, Evans adjourned.
Keithman seconded that.